Hi, this is Dot, and thank you for joining me. Thank you anyone who watched my previous video. I greatly appreciate you. I greatly appreciate anyone who subscribed, and thank you very much the Curated Shelf who gave me the shout out. So please watch her channel. She's a very lovely person. An important disclaimer also at the beginning. In this video I'll be talking about some, I guess, spirituality topics. I'll be talking about my personal experience and my personal beliefs. I don't mean any kind of disrespect towards your beliefs. I don't mean to convert anyone or to, I don't know, disapprove your experiences. This is just my kind of story to tell. In the last days, I saw many of you participate in the Vlogmas challenge by Papa Squirrel, and I greatly enjoyed them. And one of the prompts is about where are you at spirituality and tarot, I guess. So I thought this would be a good topic to give you here as a kind of introduction, how I approach tarot, where I am at it, and also about my spirituality, because many of you use tarot as a spiritual tool. So in my previous video I showed you this deck, which is the Major Arcana only, Claudia edition as I called it, of the Cosmic Tarot that was added to the magazine Claudia, as you can see. And this was my first experience with handling tarot, I guess. So this deck was added to the magazine, and there was an article about it, but I don't really remember much about the article itself. I'm guessing that the article covered some beginner information. There was probably the Celtic cross, because that was what we were doing at the time, and I think they only gave keywords for each of the cards and nothing more. So I wasn't really interested in the divination aspect of the cards. I was just fascinated by the images. They felt very powerful, I guess. They seemed like a mystery to solve. Like every card has some kind of story to tell. Maybe the article touched upon the Fool's Journey, I don't remember. Maybe they were talking something about the archetypes. They could have even talked about how tarot could be used not only for divination but also for psychological reasons and just study and analysis. So for me the cards were a nice thing to look at and a kind of mysterious thing, I guess. If I can compare it to something, it was like a Voynich manuscript. If you aren't familiar with it, this is a manuscript that is written in an unknown language or cipher, and there are also these strange drawings in it. And for centuries, people wanted to decipher it, but still today we don't even know if it's possible to decipher it. So these cards for me felt like this. They felt that there are symbols and hidden stories, and I just wanted to know better the story that each archetype wants to tell. But of course I was a teenager at the time. I didn't have any resources to give you some background information. Even now in Poland, if you go to a regular bookstore, I mean a brick and mortar bookstore, you won't find any tarot books or decks for that matter. You have to go to a witchy shop or an esoteric shop or an online shop. So in my hometown there wasn't any kind of shop like this. I'm not sure if at that time I had internet at home, but I don't think I would know how to look for information, for this kind of information, to learn more. So I just put the deck away. Sorry, I had to turn on the light because it's getting darker. So where I was, okay, so fast forward to now. I wasn't really interested in the topic of tarot for a very long time. It was only about 3 years ago that it came upon my radar, and this was the first time that I saw that people use tarot in a less spiritual way, that the approach to tarot is more on a psychological aspect of it, that they use it for analysis and study and just getting messages that maybe not, that I may be not connected to any kind of future, but also today. And this approach really grabbed me because as a person I always found it easier to understand or explain things in a using the language of allegory, language of archetypes, language of stories, metaphors, symbols. I think this approach is very good for example, changing your mindset, finding a different perspective on things, because it engages our imagination, it engages our problem-solving skills better. Also, I think you can relate to things that are not your experience, your direct experience, for example. I also love literature, I love to read, so everything of this is up my alley. Also, I think it's easier to talk about topics when you have some distance to them, because you're not so in the experience of the thing that you're talking about. So talking about things that you're struggling with, things that even you have problem to express, like sometimes I have problem to express what I'm really thinking or what I'm really feeling, and it's easier for me to give an image of it in a more metaphorical way. So back to tarot, this is everything that tarot is for me. This is the this is a way to tell stories. This is a way to get messages that are different from what I'm thinking now. Because I'm confronted, for example, with death that maybe talks about change, and when I approach the image, when I approach the topic of the thing that the card is talking about, maybe I wasn't thinking that this is what I need to do. I can even disagree with what the card is telling me, but this is like gaining a second opinion of a person, like talking with a different person. My usual practice is just doing daily pulls. I'm not really a spread person. I use them rarely. It's kind of a message that maybe helps me to boost up my mood. Maybe the message is that maybe I should think about something today, or maybe it advises some kind of activity, some kind of thing that I should keep in mind today. There are also situations when, for example, I even forget what the card was telling me today, but at the end of the day, after I look back at it, I gain some deeper understanding of the day, or after reflecting of the theme of the card, I can gain another level of understanding, or and sometimes even a different approach to the day. So I prepared a card for you because I remember exactly one situation. I think this is a good example. So I'm not sure if this was the deck that I used. So this is the Everyday Tarot, and this is the Three of Swords. So this was my card of the day, and during the day I didn't find any kind of connection to the card. I didn't think that there is anything relevant that happened during the day. I didn't experience any kind of heartbreak or even hard feelings, difficult feelings like sadness, etc. But at the end of my day, I usually like to journal about the happenings of the day. And sometimes I just go free flow and just write what's on my mind. And that day, it came upon to me to write about the struggles that I had at that moment. Some kind of I had a bit of some thoughts were troubling me, and I just wanted to express them. And after the fact, I came back to the card and realized that this is exactly what this card was talking about, because the Three of Swords, so we are in the suit of swords, the suit of thought and mind, but also the suit of expression. And the card was telling me that it's good to express these thoughts, because sometimes I like to ignore them when there's something difficult happening. I would pretend that there's nothing bad happening, or just push the difficult thoughts away and not really try to confront them. And this card was telling me that I shouldn't ignore the thoughts. I should confront them. I should confront the feelings and thoughts that I am experiencing, and express them. So yes, this is the way that I use tarot. Maybe I show a different deck so you don't get bored. This is Healing Light Tarot, because I wanted to also talk briefly about spirituality. So for me, cards, there isn't any kind of spirit in the cards. I don't believe in any kind of higher powers. I am an atheist. I'm quite a pragmatic person, I guess. I don't believe there is spirit in people, that there is spirit in nature or in the world around me. I have a scientific background, in particular in physics and biology. So this is how I approach life in a very scientific way. I appreciate nature, and I feel very connected to nature, and this is one of the reasons why I love biology, and especially I love plants, and I love to just spend time with nature around me. But because of my love for metaphorical language and symbols, I also like to kind of play pretend. I think it's also useful for my daily life and my life in general. For example, if I go and see a tree that I like, a tree that maybe grows near my house, I like to observe the cycles that it goes through. I like to appreciate all the history around it. Maybe I know something, how it was used before. Maybe I know something, some kind of biological anecdote about it. There's some kind of information that is connected to the tree. Maybe there's medicinal properties of it. So all the information that I know about the tree, I sometimes call it the energy of the tree, but this isn't really the word that I like. But I know that usually people use it like that, so I use it too. So I know of the energy of the tree, and it reminds me of something, and maybe I will even go to this tree and stand around it, or maybe sit beneath it and even talk to it, say hello, and say that maybe because this is a tree that is connected to love, for example, I will say that give me some love, or maybe I know that you are full of love, so help me find love in life. Of course, this is an example, but this is the way that I approach world in general. So I also, for example, I put this little body here. So this is, it just makes me happy to look at him. So even though that there isn't anything spiritual about him, maybe when I look at him, I will think of some happy things. And also, for example, this stone, I don't believe that crystals have any kind of powers in them. I just appreciate the geology aspect of them and look that they're pretty. But this stone in particular, for me, is like the embodiment of sadness. So when I'm struggling with depression, with just being engulfed in sadness, I like to hold it because I don't feel alone. It's like this stone knows sadness and I'm not alone in it. So yes, I think I don't have anything more to say. I would be really happy if some of you would share how you use tarot. Maybe you would like to share something about your spirituality. I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you for watching. And maybe I post another video, I don't know. Bye bye.